Hello everyone, you are welcome to this video. My name is Shadrach, and in this video we are going to learn about CSS Flexbox. CSS Flexbox is a CSS3 layout module. Knowing how to use CSS Flexbox makes your life a whole lot easier in terms of laying out elements on the page. We are going to go through some few slides, and after that we are going to jump into the code and look at some examples. What is Flexbox? It is a CSS3 web layout module that allows responsive elements within a container to be automatically arranged depending on the viewport size. In simple terms, it is an easy and clean way to arrange items within a container. When I mentioned CSS3, someone is going to ask what is the difference between CSS and CSS3. Basically, CSS is different from CSS3 in a sense that CSS3 has modules. CSS is the basic version and it does not support responsive design. CSS3 is the latest version and it supports responsive design. CSS cannot be split into modules. CSS3 can be split into modules. That's the difference. Previously, the only way we were able to align items or lay out items on the web page correctly, but then it wasn't really easy, was using floats and sometimes positions. With the introduction of Flexboxes, we no longer need floats, and then it also supports responsive design. It is mobile friendly. Positioning of child elements is much easier. Initially, this used to be a very painful experience. With Flexbox, it is much easier to position child elements within a parent element. You can also control the order of the elements any way you like. So the order of elements can be changed easily without editing the source HTML. Very easy. You're going to be seeing that shortly when we jump into writing some code. Let's look at some basic terminologies and what we mean by those terminologies. You're going to hear cross start, cross end, main start, main end, flex items, flex container, main axis, cross axis. These are all different terminologies that you need to be aware of what they mean. So if I say flex container, what is a flex container? So basically, as you can see here, any container you want to align items inside, you set the display to flex and that becomes a flex container. Flex container is the parent container which is having a display of flex. So the items in a flex container are called flex items. So for example, the first item here is a flex item, another flex item. You can have a lot of other flex items within a flex container. And then we also have the main axis, which is depending on the flex direction, primary axis along which flex items are laid out. One thing to take note is that the main axis is not necessarily horizontal. It depends on the flex direction property. Right, so it could be vertical. You're going to be seeing what I mean. These two, main axis and cross axis, are dependent on the flex direction property. If the flex direction property is set to row, then the main axis is horizontal, the cross axis is vertical. If the flex direction is set to column, the main axis become top to bottom, and then the cross axis become left to right. What do we mean by main start as well, and then main end? Flex items are placed within a container starting from the main start and going to the main end. For example, this flex item is from the main start and it's going towards this direction. That is the main end here. Some of the properties we're going to be talking about are here. So you're going to set the flex container to display flex directions for the flex items in that container. Some values for flex directions like row reverse, column reverse. And you're going to be seeing what each of them does. So we have flex wrap, flex spaces, justify content, line items, and the others. It's a bit difficult talking about it like this, so it's going to be much clearer if we jump into the code and look at some of these properties. Let's look at the browser support as well. So this is the data from Can I Use, and you could see that Flexbox is supported on almost all the browsers, with the exception of this, which is orange, which is not a problem because these days you hardly see people using this. So in the next video, we are going to jump into the text editor, write some code, and see Flexbox in action. See you in the next video.